Support WrestleTalk!
Thanks for supporting us on Patreon, the Craftsman Blake Carpenter. Kofi Kingston is going to face Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. Mandy Rose pins Asuka, and we got more of those NXT call- Wait, what, really? What, Mandy Rose pinned Asuka? Are you sure? And yet another wrestler has requested their release from WWE. You can click the timestamps in the video description below to go to any of those stories. I am Luke Owen, press the thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and answer our question of the day down below. How would you book Kofi versus Bryan at Fastlane? Because Ollie and I will be replying in the comments from out of nowhere. And vote in the poll above my head to let me know what you thought of the show, where you can choose from Smackdown, Smacktastic, Smack Bang in the Middle Smackdowner, and a Dean Ambrose style smack in the face. This is the 19th of February 2019 edition of SmackDown Live in about 4 minutes. Shane McMahon opened the show to announce that Aleister Black, Ricochet, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano will be on SmackDown again tonight, but was quickly interrupted by The Miz, who wanted to apologize for losing them the tag team titles at Elimination Chamber. Miz said that he wants his dad to be proud of him again and asked for Shane to book a rematch against the Usos, because remember, there are no authority figures in WWE anymore. This brought out the Usos, who told Shane that he lost those belts because Miz is a loser and a failure, a wannabe A-lister with C-list skills, pushing Shane to announce a tag title rematch for Fastlane. I'm so glad these automatic rematches are antiquated, and that there's no authority figures in WWE anymore. But forget about all that, Aleister Black made his SmackDown Live debut in a really good match against Andrade. Here's a shocker for you. Black looked so much better in this competitive match against an established upper mid-carder Andrade, who's been having kick-ass matches with Rey Mysterio, than having a boring match with Elias where the comedy mid-carder who got laid out by Jeff Jarrett took 90% of it. Shocking, I know. In all seriousness, this was a far better presentation of Aleister Black to a much larger main roster audience, and he picked up the win with a black mass from out of nowhere. Confusingly though, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are still acting like friends and baby faces in their backstage segment with The Bar, and then played babyface in the tag match too. Like, I know a lot of you took the knock against Ollie's criticisms of DIY on Raw, but let me ask you this. Would NXT have booked Ciampa and Gargano in these backstage segments and that match on their show? I don't think they would, considering that Gargano literally said on NXT 2 weeks ago that they're not friends, they're not a team, and he hates Ciampa. Halftime heat apparently doesn't count. This is why it's so frustrating. You can't just pretend NXT and its storylines don't matter. You wouldn't have Captain America and Iron Man clash in Civil War and then release another movie a month later where the same actors play the same characters, acting like none of that ever happened. Anyway, DIY won and looked good in beating The Bar. It's just so weird. Call off the search, everyone! I've found Asuka. She's looking for a new challenger on SmackDown. Remember how around the Royal Rumble we were all talking about how Sonya Deville would be a great challenger for Asuka if she was just given a chance? Well, WWE listened to its audience now as they booked Sonya Deville's best friend Mandy Rose against Asuka. You were so close, WWE! And then Mandy Rose pinned Asuka. Wait, what? Rose feigned an injury and then outsmarted the Empress of Tomorrow to pick up the win, becoming the 4th person in WWE history to pin or tap out Asuka following Charlotte Flair, Carmella and Nia Jax. Iconics also hold victories over her, but they pinned Becky Lynch and Naomi in those tag matches. Lacey Evans also came out to do her catwalk gimmick, but was scared off by the much better Sonya Deville. Oh no, a gay person! I guess we'll be getting Asuka versus Rose at Fastlane. Charlotte cut a promo backstage with...
Who the devil are you?
Flair reminded everyone that Becky was suspended and she would be the main event of WrestleMania against Ronda Rousey. Call off the search, everyone. I've also found sanity, with Eric Young losing to NXT's Ricochet in a match that the crowd were just not into at all. They did pop for Ricochet's flip-de-doos, but fell silent for the underutilized Young's rest hold. And can you blame them? Ricochet picked up the win with the 630 and looked good doing so. We got the same Kevin Owens promo video from Raw, and New Day told Kayla Braxton that Kofi's story hasn't been told over 7 days, it's been 11 years in the making. Instagram didn't exist then. Iron Man and The Dark Knight were a few months from being released. Everyone was getting low with Flow Rider, and Randy Orton was the WWE champion and in the main event. Oh my, how times have changed. Kofi then teamed with AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy to take on Samoa Joe and WWE champion Daniel Bryan, and of course Randy Orton, in a fun 6-man tag main event, which saw Kingston once again pin WWE champ Daniel Bryan to thunderous Kofi chants from the crowd. Shane McMahon came out and announced that at Fastlane, Daniel Bryan would defend the title against Kofi, which does sadly suggest that this feud is not going to last until WrestleMania like we all hoped it would. Look, I know a lot of you thought Ollie and I were a bit critical of Raw on Monday night because you enjoyed the NXT surprises, but it's just because we care and we want to see these NXT guys treated like stars. I go back to the call-ups of The Shield and Kevin Owens, bringing wrestlers up from NXT and inserting them straight into storylines with top guys, establishing them as main event players. WWE are currently not presenting Ciampa, Gargano, Black or Ricochet as anything special. They're just guys on the roster having matches with no consequences. This isn't The Shield or Kevin Owens, this is Bobby Roode or Andrade's 2018. It certainly doesn't help that all four of them debuted at the same time and are now competing for audience attention at the same time. And I'm sorry, but I cannot get on board with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano teaming together as baby faces after the 3-year-long story they've been telling and crucially are still telling down in NXT. I just can't. With that said, yay Kofi! And the NXT crew did look a lot better on this show than they did on Monday night, which is also a bonus. Can't buy into Mandy Rose as a serious contender to Asuka, especially when Sonya Deville's on the outside, but at least the blue brand built some Fastlane matches. This week's SmackDown Live is a low smacktastic. And now, over to Ollie Davis with the news.
No man is ever truly good. No man is ever truly evil. I do the things you never could. WWE Fastlane, babe! Okay, sorry, I didn't see you there. It's time for the news. Thanks, Luke. Great review. I didn't hear much of it, though, as I can't stop listening to my new favourite band, the Moody Blacks, and their hit album, Nights in White Satin. When Aleister Black debuted on Monday's Raw, Michael Cole described him as dark, moody, and intimidating, because the best way to get over super cool occultist gimmicks on the main roster, it seems, is to make them sound like characters from Twilight. Thankfully, references to Black being moody on commentary were dropped on last night's SmackDown, so Aleister poked fun at the line by parodying the Moody Blues' album on Instagram. But Tuesday wasn't just a happy NXT SmackDown debut day. Segue. It was also Tye Dillinger's birthday, who turned 10, and 8, so 38. And the celebrations didn't stop there, as Dillinger's real-life girlfriend Peyton Royce hinted on Instagram that the couple are now engaged. My biggest supporter, the love of my life. Happy birthday, handsome! Party time emoji, art emoji, ring emoji. Excellent Australian accent, Ollie. A birthday? Getting engaged to Peyton Royce? How could that day get any better? By requesting your release from WWE. Even though he feels like a newer talent in WWE, Dillinger actually started his wrestling career all the way back in 2002. He joined WWE's developmental system, Ohio Valley Wrestling, in 2006. There he is with Cody Rhodes. I wonder what happened to that guy. Migrated over to their next developmental promotion, Florida Championship Wrestling, in 2008, and was then let go in 2009, just months after debuting on their ECW brand under the name Gavin Spears. After a few years on the independent scene, Tye returned to WWE with their latest developmental territory, NXT, but he wouldn't fully find his place for another 3 years, when his perfect 10 gimmicks started to get over in mid-2015. Which culminated in a phenomenal reaction for his match against Bobby Roode at NXT TakeOver Toronto, and being a surprise entrant in the 2017 Royal Rumble at, of course, number 10. He debuted on SmackDown later that year, but his push on that show never matched the reactions he was getting, perhaps because backstage officials reportedly didn't like the crowd's 10 chant. And it seems that barely being used has led him to ask for his release, as he revealed himself in a statement on Twitter. Before rumours begin to spread, let me set things straight ahead of time. This evening, I requested my release from WWE. In the past 5.5 years with them, I have seen and done some wonderful things that I am very proud of and will never forget. I have met and have worked with, unquestionably, some of the greatest talent on this earth, and the pleasure has been all mine. I feel at this time the decision, as extremely difficult as it was, is what is best for myself and WWE. I wish to continue to grow as a performer and offer those paying hard-earned money to watch a show I'm performing on a little more of myself. To the male and female locker rooms, coaches and producers, to the production ring crew, all the way up to the very top of the WWE, and most of all, the fans. I wish you all the very best and thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything. It's important to note though that this statement doesn't confirm Tye's request has been granted. It's been reported that Vince McMahon doesn't want WWE to be seen as the company wrestlers want to leave. And Dave Meltzer claims they're doing everything to stop performers from quitting, like recently putting the Raw Tag Team Championships on the Revival and the SmackDown ones on the Usos, with both acts' contracts up in the air. And WWE obviously want to stop their wrestlers jumping ship to new promotion All Elite Wrestling. So expect Dillinger to win the US title on next week's SmackDown. Tye is the latest in a string of wrestlers who have asked for their release since AEW was officially announced, which reportedly includes Mike and Maria Kanellis, The Revival, Dean Ambrose, and Hideo Itami, making Tye number 7. You couldn't have waited a few more releases to fit the 10 gimmick? Lazy. Want to hear me get very angry about Raw's NXT call-ups? Then click the video on the right now. And thank you to our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon, who you can see scrolling down there, for helping us pass 1,000 Patreons over the weekend. That means monthly WrestleSketch episodes for everyone. You can get your name in the credits by clicking the link down there. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.